Valve is a company what definitely knows how to create games what turn the industry upside down. Just remember Half-Life, which set a new standard for story-driven shooters. Or Counter-Strike, which became one of the most popular games in the tactical shooter genre. And how about Dota 2, which changed the MOBA genre and gathered one of the largest esports communities in the world. And now Valve is back with something new, Deadlock. But what is this game, and does it have the potential to become Valve's next big hit? Let's take a closer look. Deadlock is a project what was kept secret for many years. Information about it leaked through insiders and data miners, who were the first to discover mentions of this game under the codenames Citadel or Neon Prime. The community immediately exploded with rumors. Some thought it would be a continuation of Half-Life, while others hoped for a new multiplayer shooter. And finally, after years of rumors and leaks, Valve started sending out invitations to a closed alpha test. Now we know, Deadlock is a hybrid between a MOBA and a third-person shooter, which is already generating excitement in the gaming community. At the first glance, Deadlock looks like a mix of Dota 2 and Valorant. It has the traditional MOBA elements, lanes, towers, creeps, and the ultimate goal to destroy the enemy's base. But what's the similarities end? As Deadlock takes this familiar gameplay into the third dimensions, in a third-person perspective. The game uses dynamic shooting mechanics. You need to not only deal damage, but also aim accurately, move around the map, jump, dodge enemy attacks, and use headshots to achieve maximum effect. The main feature of Deadlock is its 6v6 team battles. Instead of choosing one hero and sticking with them throughout the entire game. Players are given a pool of 3 characters, and one of them is randomly assigned at the start of the match. This forces players to be flexible and adaptive. You need to be able to play with different heroes and quickly adjust to changing battle conditions. This mechanic requires much more flexibility and skill than standard MOBAs, where you focus on mastering one character. How does a match play out? The game begins with a laning phase, familiar to MOBA players. You will be farming creeps, collecting souls, the game's currency. Souls can be used to buy items, improve your stats, and make your character stronger. But where's a twist? Souls can only be collected by landing the last hit on a creep, adding an element of competition for resources. You not only need to fight enemies, but also make sure your opponents don't collect more resources. Like in traditional MOBAs, souls can be stolen by opponents if you don't gather them in time. But that's just the beginning. As the match progresses, the map becomes much more interesting. Each of the 3 lanes on the map has its own towers and objectives. There are also ziplines what allow you to move quickly across the map, adding dynamism and strategy to movement. With ziplines, you can suddenly appear in another part of the map, help your teammates, or escape from an attack. Additionally, Deadlock's map features a unique atmosphere. The developers combined elements of dieselpunk and retrofuturism. All of this takes place in a world inspired by the 1930s and Victorian England, giving the game a distinctive visual style. As for heroes, there are currently over 20, and each of them is unique. Valve has managed to create a diverse roster of characters with different playstyles. Some heroes, like Reckoning, a sniper, can deal precious long-range damage, while others, like Seventh, specialize in area control, using electrofields and area of effect attacks. Each character has a set of abilities what differ greatly in functionality, making the game deep in terms of strategic choice. It's also worth noting that the hero mechanics in Deadlock are inspired by several popular games. For example, one hero can use a grappling hook to move around the map, look like a character from Dota 2. Other heroes can create protective barriers or use magical powers similar to heroes from Valorant and Team Fortress 2. This creates an interesting mix of genre, adding variety to the game's strategy. Another key feature of the game is the absence of mana or a similar resource system. All hero abilities rely solely on cooldowns. This means you can use your skills more frequently, without worrying about running out of energy. This decision speeds up gameplay significantly and makes it more aggressive, which will appeal to fans of fast-paced and dynamic shooters. Now let's talk about the item system. Deadlock offers some unique features here too. There are 3 types of items: for weapons, survivability, and mysticism. Each of these types helps and change your hero in specific areas, whether it's increasing damage, boosting defense, or adding new magical abilities. This element allows you to further customize your playstyle, creating unique builds for different heroes. Some items even grant active abilities, such as temporary shields or short-range teleportation. Speaking of the technical side, Deadlock is already visually impressive, even though the game is still in alpha. The graphics look fantastic, with clear details and both the characters and the environment. The effects of abilities and battles add a sense of epicness, and it's clear what the game is designed for high-end PCs. However, even on medium graphic settings, Deadlock performs well. Despite some bugs and errors, Valve is actively working on fixing them, and the tester community is already providing feedback. The matchmaking and ranking system is another important aspect. Although the game is still in development, it's already known what Valve plans to implement a ranking system, so players can compete in balanced matches. It's expected what matchmaking will focus on balancing team strength, reducing situation where one team is clearly stronger than the other. The ranking system will also play a key role in Deadlock's esports future, which Valve is clearly planning to develop. So, what does the community think of Deadlock so far? Early feedback from alpha testers and streamers has been most positive. The game is already attracting attention from major streamers, who are actively sharing their opinions and creating the first guides for the game. The community is eagerly discussing Deadlock's potential as the next major esports title from Valve. After all, the company has a strong track record in creating successful esports games. Just remember the success of Dota 2 and the International, which became one of the biggest esports events in the world. Of course, the game is still in alpha, and the balance of heroes is not yet perfect. For example, the hero of the Sevens currently dominates in terms of win rates, due to their area control abilities. This has sparked discussions among players about the need to nerf this character. But we know what Valve takes balance seriously in their games, and many of these issues will likely be addressed in future patches and updates. Deadlock combines the strategic depth of Dota 2 with the speed and dynamism of third-person shooters. This unique combination makes the game feel fresh compared to its competitors. If Valve continues to support the project, adding new heroes, maps and mechanics, Deadlock could very well become a new hit in the esports arena. To sum up, Deadlock is a game with enormous potential. As always, Valve has managed to surprise us by combining tried and true mechanics with innovative ideas. This game retains the strength of their previous projects, but brings something new to the genre. If you're a fan of Dota, Valorant, or just looking for a fresh take on the MOBA genre with shooter elements, Deadlock is a game worth trying. The game is currently in closed alpha, but with each passing day, it's generating more and more buzz. Valve seems to be on the verge of creating their next big hit, which could become the next major event in the gaming world.